Give me one penny in 30 days. By the end of it, I'll show you how that penny could become more than $5 million. And that's not even the craziest one. One tiny percentage can quietly cost you tens of thousands without you ever seeing a bill. Starting at 25 instead of 45 can change the monthly amount needed for the same $1 million goal by almost 5 times. And here's the one that sounds the most unfair. You can put in less than $50,000 and eventually have more than $250,000. So where did the other $200,000 come from? You did not earn it from a second job, and you did not deposit it. Every one of these facts comes back to the same weird force, and that is time. And once you see what time does to money, the numbers start getting ridiculous. Here's the first experiment. I'll give you $1 million right now, or one penny that doubles every day for 30 days. Be honest, you're taking the $1 million, right? I mean, why would anyone choose a penny when there's $1 million suitcase sitting right there? But let's actually follow the penny. Day 1, 1 cent. Day 2, 2 cents. Day 3, 4 cents. Day 4 is 8 cents. Day 5 is 16. Day 6 is 32. It still looks completely pointless. 10 days in, you've reached only about $5. You could literally find more money under your couch. But then, something strange starts happening. Day 20 arrives, and suddenly that tiny penny has become more than $5,000. Day 25, about $168,000. At this point, the penny is not looking so stupid anymore. Then comes day 30. The final number is not 500,000 or 1 million. It's roughly $5.37 million. Being honest, nobody's offering you this deal in real life. The point is what your brain completely misses. Exponential growth looks boring, right until it doesn't. Now let's make this real. Forget the magical penny. What happens if you simply stop spending $5 every single day? $5 does not feel important. It's one coffee, one snack, one random purchase you probably will not even remember next week. But $5 every day is about $1,800 a year. And now that number starts becoming interesting. Over 30 years, that's $54,750 if you never invest a single dollar of it. But suppose, purely as an illustration, that you invested that same $5 a day and averaged 7% annually. After 30 years, the result is not $54,000 anymore. It's roughly $172,000. You did not suddenly start earning more. You did not get a lucky stock. You simply redirected $5 a day and gave it decades. That's the part people underestimate. A small amount looks completely harmless when you look at one day. But money does not experience your decisions one day at a time. It experiences them hundreds and thousands of times. Now here's where this gets personal. Imagine two people who both want exactly $1 million by age 65. The first person starts investing at 25. The second decides that they'll get serious about money later. 20 years pass. The second person finally starts at 45. Nothing else changed. Same goal, same hypothetical return. Assuming a 7% average annual return, the 25-year-old needs roughly $418 per month. The 45-year-old person needs about $2,033 every month. That's the price of starting late. You need to invest significantly more just to catch up. That's almost 5 times as much every month just to reach the exact same $1 million destination. Same goal, same finish line, but starting later makes the monthly price dramatically higher. And this is not because the younger person discovered a secret investment. They did not. They simply bought themselves something incredibly valuable. Time gives every contribution more chances to grow, and eventually, your earlier contributions have years of growth sitting on top of them. This is why waiting can be so expensive. You're not only losing the money you could have invested today, you're losing the years that money could have been growing. And here's the uncomfortable part. You cannot go backward and recover those years. You can only decide what happens with the next one. Now let's talk about something far less exciting than a millionaire goal, investment fees, because this one can quietly eat your money. Imagine you have $100,000 invested. Then someone says, don't worry, the fee is only 1%. 1% sounds tiny, because 1% of $100 is just $1. But your investment is not staying at $100. As the account grows, the dollar amount represented by that percentage grows too. That happens year after year after year. As an illustration, suppose $100 grows at 4% a year for 20 years, with a 0.2% annual fee. That hypothetical portfolio ends around $208,000. Raise the fee to 1%, and the ending value drops to around $179,000. That's roughly a $29,000 difference. And remember, we're talking about a fee that sounded like just 1%. And the real damage is not just the fee itself, it's the growth that money could have earned if it had remained invested. Now we get to the fact that connects everything we've talked about. Imagine you invest $100 every month for 40 years. At first, it feels almost laughably small. $100 is not going to make you rich tomorrow. It barely looks important. But 40 years is a completely different story. You personally contributed $48,000 during that entire period. Now let's use the same hypothetical 7% average annual return. Suddenly, that account is no longer anywhere near 48,000. It reaches roughly $262,000, more than 5 times the amount you personally put into. Stop there for a second. You put in $48,000. The account has $262,000. So where did the extra money come from? It's not from another paycheck, not from some secret deposit, and definitely not because you suddenly became a millionaire overnight. It came from the growth generated by the money you had already invested. Your returns started generating their own returns. And that's where compounding becomes almost unfair. Early on, you're doing almost all the work. Later, the money you've already built starts doing more of it. The account starts slowly, then it accelerates, and eventually, the curve can become much steeper than anything you'd expect from looking at the first few years. Now look back at all 5 facts. The penny was not magic. $5 a day was not magic. Starting early was not magic either. They were all showing you the same thing from a different angle. Repeated decisions become powerful when enough time is attached to them. That's why tiny financial decisions can feel completely irrelevant today, while becoming enormous when you look 20 or 30 years into the future. And that's also why the biggest financial mistake is not always making a terrible investment. Sometimes it's simply waiting too long to start. Because you can increase your income later, you can invest more later, you can learn more later, but you can never recover the exact years you already let pass. So maybe the craziest money fact is not that a penny can become millions. It's that boring decisions can become extraordinary when you give them enough time. That's the part about money that sounds fake, but is completely real. You don't need your money to change overnight. You need to give your decisions enough time to compound.